A Cincinnati lawyer claims it's his duty to represent a group of white supremacists because he believes, quote, white people are the chosen people. The white supremacists were having trouble finding legal representation for their case related to the violent clashes in Charlottesville. So this lawyer decided to step in and fight on behalf of their cause. Joining me now to talk about this is Molly Barrows, legal journalist for the Trial Lawyer magazine. Very interesting story here, Molly. So who is this lawyer and why on earth did he make these comments?
James E. Kolnich. He's based out of Cincinnati, and it looks like some of the organizers of the alt-right rally that, as we all know, turned violent in Charlottesville, Virginia. They are being sued in a civil suit from folks who say they basically disrupted their right to protest peacefully. A law student who's part of that civil suit says she was emotionally distressed by seeing the violence when she was just there to do a peaceful demonstration. Well, these alt-right organizers, as you might imagine, were having a hard time finding someone to represent them. Well, here comes our hero, James E. Kolnich. Not only will I represent you, I believe in what you're supporting. I believe in the message that you're sending out. He says, I, too, believe that white people must save and preserve their civilization. This is what he told the Cincinnati Enquirer about why he was representing these neo-Nazis and these white supremacists. He said that basically white people are the chosen people, that they were chosen as a result of the New Testament, that he does not support hating other minority groups, but he supports basically undermining and opposing any unchristian message or influence in society. So that's the real concern. How do you define, in this man's very limited opinion, what is an unchristian influence? So he says he's not hateful, he's not anti any group. He's certainly not anti-Semitic, but he doesn't support any unchristian influence.
So, okay, these are some pretty, I'm going to go with crazy statements that this guy's making here.
I'm not going to argue.
So do these violate any kind of ethics rules or anything? Or is he totally okay to go out there and say these things?
You know, like so many other issues in this era that we live in now of politics, it is now being debated. I don't think there's any clear-cut answer to say that he definitely violated any ethics rules in his home state of Ohio, because he's a Cincinnati-based attorney. Ethics rules do bar lawyers from basically discriminatory behavior that's covered by legal grounds. Same with the American bar. They don't want you to do anything that's already illegal, discriminating by race, religion, sex, you name it. But, you know, they basically say that even though you're not supposed to engage in any kind of behavior that's discriminatory, this guy's doing the exact opposite. So while it might be appalling for him to support this message and to support the message that these men are carrying, it's not necessarily unethical. Hateful and disgusting, yes. Crazy, yes. But unethical, that's one for some classes, I think, to debate.
So what's been the reaction from the legal community on this? I mean, you know, these people go to conventions together. They see each other around.
Yes.
Somebody had to have had some kind of reaction like, hold up, dude, you can't do that.
Yes, and that's just it. I think as long as they're paying his bills, I think he can do it. And so unless there's some new law that's passed as a result of this that says, hey, you know, you can represent your client, whether you agree or disagree, as long as you're behaving in a professional manner and you're not violating any ethical standards. If he's not violating, they may have to make some rules that he can potentially violate by what he proclaims to believe. But it's interesting, they contacted the Cincinnati Enquirer, contacted the ACLU of Ohio, and they said, obviously, we think the speech is hateful and disgusting, what he's saying, but we strongly support any person in their right to stick up for what they believe if there's no action behind it. So it's one thing for him to say, white people are chosen, I'm going to oppose any unchristian influence in our society, but as long as he's not going and packing and shooting at people that he feels are unchristian influences, then they're willing to fight for his, or stand up for his right to believe what he believes, which obviously is, you know, what the ACLU is known for. And there is another law professor out of the University of Cincinnati who wants to present this to her law students and be like, what you think? Is this ethical?
Well, absolutely. They need to present that so they can get, you know, let's figure this out. But Molly Barrows, legal journalist with Trial Lawyer magazine, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Aaron. Good to see you.